Hey guys, it's Spidey Skater Boy here, back with the rest of the Spidey squad and special guest, I'll call it Bob. We're doing a very different kind of video. It's a very sad video because we all had to face the harsh news that Stanley has passed away today at the age of 95. We just wanted to have a video out there and just, kind of reminisce our memories about Stanley and, how he impacted our lives. So I'll just let these guys take it from here.
Very sad. Found out like at 6 o'clock in the morning. Not the best thing to wake up to.
I found out when I was going to get breakfast.
Yeah. I literally saw it from another Spidey Squad member's video notification, and then I just thought, that's not a fun joke. And then I went on Twitter.
Oh, no, I saw...
Now, my cousin just told me right in my face that, Stan Lee died, right? And, all the light just drained from my face.
I saw a DM saying Stan Lee passed, and I was like, oh, that's funny, that's a joke. But then when I went in my feed, official websites were saying, no, he really passed, and I was like, no. No.
Yeah, at first I just kind of had assumed it was one of those stupid celebrity death hoaxes.
Yeah.
But then there was a bunch
Especially since it came from TMZ.
Yeah,
I didn't believe it all. They're like,
I need to take it with a grain of salt at first.
Especially because we were getting a lot of those within the past year or so. We had 4 of them in the past year.
Yeah, they joked about that every other day. And then all of a sudden, when it really hit, which is why, for me, it still hasn't fully hit yet. I'm sure it will by the time tomorrow or the next day following, but
I'm still in shock for sure.
Yeah.
Like I was saying before we doing this recording, it's like I haven't felt it yet because I feel like he's really not gone. He's still here with us.
His legacy's still here, but at the same time, he was everyone's grandfather, and he is also everyone's best friend. That best friend you grew up with that helps you find who you truly are as a person, that helps you find what you like and help you discover your core values as a person. He's that best friend that you never want to let go, but you never really have to say goodbye to one day.
Yeah.
Today
was a lot of important lessons for sure.
Yeah, and it's truly never goodbye because his stories will always live on.
Yeah.
His stories are timeless, his characters are timeless.
Yeah, that's
And the great thing about it for me is that when I get to go as a YouTuber on my videos and just see comments or just interact with you guys every day and just get to share our passion all the time, 24/7, about all the characters that he made that we all love together, I think that's what brings us together even more as a community and more so a family, because he lives on through us and with our passion that we have with the amazing characters and stories he's created, which is why in that regard, like what you guys were saying, he's not really gone. He's just away, but he still lives on through all of us, which is why every time I get to see people talk about him with such passion on Twitter, what we were also talking about before the recording is that this has been the most passionate amount of tweets that we've ever seen on Twitter ever about a celebrity death, in a really huge way.
Yeah, and like I was saying too earlier, everybody's been really respectful with it. Like I said, shy of a couple of people, but they're really the minority. 95% of everybody.
Garbage, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they are. That's why I'm not even going to give them full credit. But you know what I mean? It's at least 95% of everybody. So the vast majority of everybody has
people respect.
Yeah, they've been extremely respectful. Like I said, all the the outpouring of pictures and memories and all the actors saying what Stan meant to them and how he helped them get a start and they were honored to be part of the MCU or just anything Marvel in general. That helped me get through the day a lot, and a pretty rare occurrence. Like Evan was saying, it's not every day that happens when somebody dies.
Hell, there's the tweet that Mark Webb put out. I kind of want to just read that real quick because that just sums up perfectly what Stanley is, at least to me. Stanley, born Stan Lieber, had an everlasting understanding of what it meant to be an outsider. There was great power, great responsibility, great tenderness, and of course, great cameos. Thanks for being a hero, Stan.
That's perfect. That sums it up. Short and sweet, but it's perfect.
And that movie had the best cameo. Well, arguably one of them.
What, Tasm 1? Yeah, that was, to me, one of his best.
The library scene.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Is it just me, guys? Is it just me, when you found out, did like you feel like a sinking pin in your stomach, and you just felt
Yeah.
sick.
Like for me, I
just
still
felt
haven't
like
accepted it really. Like for me,
Yeah.
it's just like it happened, but I don't
Yeah.
realize it yet. Like I'm
Yeah,
still coming
I'm
to
still.
cope
I
with
think
it.
I'm still in denial right now. I think maybe once I watch a movie or see Into the Spider Verse where there's a new cameo, maybe that's when it's gonna really hit
Yeah.
me hard.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's gonna really
Yeah.
hit home then, like with a new
I
cameo.
don't think I'm
and
ready
then
for
he
that
can,
cameo because
like
you know
arrest
for a
him.
fact he's gonna have ones. He's gonna have
Mhm.
like I'm not ready for that.
I think once once all this is over and once everything kind of somewhat goes back to normal, I think that's when it's really going to hit me because then
Same.
because right now I'm just focusing on seeing all this love right now
Yeah.
on social
Yeah.
media about
Trying to enjoy the moment. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Once
And
we're
I
through
fe-
the week kind of thing, yeah, we'll
It sounds
get
weird, but it feels like seeing the world. It's like seeing the world is coming together to celebrate this man's life. Whether
It's just
whatever
incredible.
differences you had, whether
no matter where you're
if
from.
you're a PlayStation fan, Xbox fan, whatever,
Mhm.
DC, Marvel, whatever, we can all celebrate this man's life
Yeah.
because he changed
Yeah.
our lives.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
see,
think
it's just crazy.
I think too, like the way everybody handled it today, like he
Yeah.
would be proud. That's what he would want, and that was
Right.
kind of like that was like what he was so good at. Like you said, is bringing us all together. You know what I mean? No matter where you're from, no matter who you are, I do think you know him watching over, he'd have been very proud today with how people handled it.
Absolutely.
The fact
Oh,
that his
yeah.
death brought us closer together than even his
Yeah.
characters were able to, which
That's what I
came
mean.
with our
That's
extensions
huge.
of himself is incredible.
Today he bring the world came together,
Mm-hmm.
and
The-
I've never seen the world
But the
react.
world will never be the same after this. So
It's
No.
very
not,
true.
it's not
Yeah.
gonna be the same. It's gonna.
It's impressive to see though. Like
Oh,
Jordan.
just
really
saying it actually bothers me right now. I'm not even joking, guys. Like this shit actually hurts. Excuse my French. This
Well, like-
shit hurts.
Well, one of our other Spidey Squad members, Austin, said is that this might happen when we're all long gone, but if or when we do have kids, or at least this next generation of kids that are going to come in, they may not know who he was, or might ask the question, "Who is Stanley?" or "Who was Stanley?" And that
scares me.
is upsetting to hear, but at the same time, it could also be seen as something truly special because then that way, if you do have a kid of your own and how
Yeah.
you were exposed to Stanley, you can then introduce him in your
Yeah.
own unique and passionate way
Yeah.
to you.
It gives us an opportunity to pass it down to the next
Yeah.
generation instead of
Yeah.
squat.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly why.
Now it's on us
That's
because
why
he
he's
asked,
truly never
right?
gone.
Now it's our job.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's
now
why
that-
he's not gone. He's still here.
Mm-hmm.
now that you mentioned fellow Spidey Squad member Spidey fan, Austin, he actually got to meet Stanley a few months back actually at a con in Florida.
Oh, wait.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got to meet him, so
He got a picture
He
with
got
him.
to-
Cool.
he got to shake his hand and take a picture with him. And he said he was a nice
very-
man.
I've actually had an uncle of mine that met Stanley once, and he took a picture with him, which is
That's
cool.
awesome. But now we need to keep your legacy going by sharing
Exactly.
the characters that you've created through your amazing stories that changed all of our lives.
And the
And-
morals and lessons that he taught, like there's so much
Mhm.
good that come out of that
And
guy.
the models that I've learned of being a person, saying
Yeah.
like it's tough being a good person with a good heart, and
Mhm.
we see that with Spider-Man. Like he does the right thing, and he gets slammed by Jonah all the time, but he still does the
Mhm.
right thing.
Yeah. Makes the necessary sacrifices
Because
to do the right thing at any cost.
He learned that with great power there must also come great responsibility, and Stan taught us that. He taught us that
Yeah.
no matter what you go through, still be that good person, no matter what. And that is something I will never forget.
Yeah, same. It definitely influenced me like right when I was young, and I've kind of
Yes.
lived that way every day. Like that's like my motto in life,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely
something I
shaped-
will pass down to my children one day. I want to
Exactly.
teach them saying with great power there must also come great responsibility.
And that's what we said on the Spidey Squad Twitter page too, in case you viewers didn't see it, is that we said superheroes are real.
Yeah.
Continuing that, we said you may not think so at first, but if you look closely, you'll be able to see the wonders that lie within each and every one of us. Stan Lee's gift to the world was helping us embrace our hero and inspiring us to one day help inspire others. And what I think is great about that is because, given how Stan, even if it was intentional or not, just making these characters for fun with these stories that he created with these roles and these narrative points that may or may not connect with some readers or audience members in the movie, it ended up being this phenomenon that inspired people worldwide. And particularly with Spider-Man is the whole thing that his costume is from head to toe. You don't see any part of his skin, so anyone can feel like that they can be that hero and become their own true hero in their own way, which is what I think is so great. That's why we love Spider-Man so much.
Because he's relatable.
Yeah, and like you said, anyone, anywhere can relate or put themselves in his shoes.
And it's not only just that. There's one. I forgot which interview it was, but it was something about Daredevil. How Daredevil was a blind superhero, you know, and the blind pleased to hear about that. And Stan got like lots of letters being like thank you, like just thank you letters saying, you know, that's amazing. There's a blind superhero. And
I mean, everybody should be able to feel like they could see themselves in the hero, you know.
yeah,
Everybody.
That's the thing. You know, sometimes we get angry. You know, you got the Hulk. We can relate to that.
Yeah.
You know, we can relate to all those characters that Stan created because he put the human in superhuman.
A good moral compass to follow.
And, you
Exactly.
you know, he touched all of our lives. Like my parents, they found out, and you know, they're not massive comic book readers. They're not into really superheroes, but they were grateful because Stan made my life better. And they're grateful for that. And that shows you whether you're a fan of comic books, superheroes, or not. Stanley affected your life.
Yeah.
Hell, like my mom, my brother, when my brother was growing up, they used to watch them all the Marvel animated shows together.
Yeah,
Like,
that was me.
My mom,
Same.
she doesn't read comics, but she's definitely into it. Like she's full into it.
Well,
Like,
I mean, you
and
know,
I guess
Josh,
that's kind
like
of
I
where I
said,
got it.
I'm not a comic reader. I never have been. I only I watch the animated stuff. I'll watch the movies, like, and play the games. And I'm a huge
That's where you
Spider-Man.
get your knowledge from.
I've read like 3 Spider-Man comics in my life. It's just I prefer the other, you know, forms of media, right? But it doesn't mean I'm not a huge fan, but a lot of times like I'm the minority. Like everybody talks about comics, and I've never been that guy, but I love the characters, like love them, you know. And it
It's
goes to
just
show
you're not the kind of like reading type.
Well, no, I am. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's more so I didn't grow up like reading the comics and then watch the movies and stuff. I watched the movies and stuff first. So I think it was just kind of it came more natural to me. Whereas like my parents' generation, they grew up as a kid reading the comics and buying them every week, and that kind of wasn't my thing.
Well,
It's
it
all
mainly
really
sucks for
weird.
someone like me that there's no comic book store near where I live,
That's
so I
epic.
gotta try and go
That's
online.
if I need to get
True.
comics, I gotta drive an hour or two. So it's just
They're all
not
in San Francisco,
work.
Josh. In Pacifica, there's barely a comic book shop. But yeah,
That-
for me, when I was growing up, I always read Ultimate Spider-Man and some Avengers comics, but mainly just that whole series. And then once I started getting older, and I saw there's this whole world of comics that I totally haven't explored yet. So I tried to read them, but I never had any time to. Still, sadly, I still haven't been able to catch up with all the recent stuff.
yeah.
But I still feel like, yeah, like with other forms of media that some people can access and some people can't, at least there's something for everyone that they can be exposed to. Anything
100%.
with Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, maybe it's a bit different because I did grow up seeing the movies and cartoons first. Like I grew up with the 2002 that was the first movie I've ever seen, and then I got introduced to the '90s Marvel shows, first being Spider-Man and then X-Men. But when I was growing up, like once I was like from like 7 to 8, like, we were getting newspapers, and it was so crazy that they were doing this. They were just reprinting and selling and like shipping out like the Lee Ditko era Spider-Man comics with the newspaper, and I think that's where I got my love for like not
That
only
would
Stan
make
but
sense.
also Steve Ditko, and that's
Yeah,
why
you
I love
get
him
the
so much.
paper, you
And
sort
his
through it
art
to
and
find
everything.
the comics.
Yeah, and I used to read them all the time, and that's what got me hooked onto comic books, and that's what made me aware of like, oh, there's something to it. This is real. This comes from somewhere, you know.
Well, and I think
And
too, like it gives you an escape, you know, like anything like books, games, or anything, but like comic books specifically, you know, you can kind of just get lost in that world and forget about your problems. And that's one of the things like Stan Lee was the best for, you know. Like he's so so cheery, and like I said, it's a good escape because life is hard at the end of the day. You know, we can all
It
use
really is.
some time to get
No matter
away.
how easy you make it seem, or
Yeah.
how easy like certain things might come to you, life is certainly a pain in the ass for all of us. Whether
Speaking of,
how tough it is for everyone, it's hard.
Yeah,
speaking
so I
of
mean,
pain,
everybody
I
could
was,
use an escape. It's good for you, to be honest, to not dwell on everything that's stressing you out for a couple hours at a time. Like it's good for you. And then, like I said, with the comics, they, it's a good moral compass to follow. They always had good ethics, good morals, good lessons. So even people that maybe were like troubled or didn't really have a good home life or something, like they could have kind of could have lived and learned, like lived through that and learned, you know what I mean, from what they taught, and like because maybe their parents wouldn't teach them, but you can still kind of learn and improve yourself. You know, it's not even just for like good people. Sure, there's a lot of people in every walk of life that were influenced by it, right?
Yeah.
And it has that beautiful way of bringing everybody together.
I guess since we kind of are already on this topic, I kind of want to know like what are like some of your like greatest memories like having to do with Stanley? Like what are some of your first as well?
For me, like the biggest one that stuck with me, you actually shared it on Twitter today, Jordan. It's the '90s show when I think it's the finale of the series when he
Oh
swings the
yeah, it
Stan
is.
Lee
Yeah.
around. That is like my all-time, because like that was right when I was a kid. Like that will always stick with me because I love the '90s animated series and I love them for doing that. So that's to me that's my fondest memory.
For me, it's a mixture of different things. It's definitely the '90s series. Like that's a part of all of our childhood. I think we can all agree on that. That's a part of all of our childhood. We all love that series. It's but one of the first things
Yes.
besides Spider-Man 2002 is Stanley narrating that first Neversoft game because I didn't have the second one up until recent. So
Oh
the
yeah,
first
you're
one,
right. I forgot
I
about
always
that.
play it all the
Yeah.
time. Always play that all the time.
Same.
That
That
plays in,
actually, speaking
and
on
that
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 game,
amazing narration. I mean,
I think that game was part of what made me fall in love with Spider-Man because I had a PS1 when I was a kid. It was like the first console we owned, and I can't remember. I think it was a demo disc that I had or something, and there was a demo on it, and like I just immediately fell in love with that and like the way they handled Venom in that game. So that
it was just
game,
right.
yeah, it was perfect. And then like you said, the
Yeah.
Stan Lee. Like now I'm just hearing that in my head and like remembering my childhood. That is my childhood right there. So add that to the list as well.
He was our childhood in a sense. Like you could say a piece of your childhood died. For me, it's like pretty much almost all of it died essentially because
Good
he
to
was a huge part of my childhood. Because
well,
Spider-Man and comic books and superheroes was most of my childhood.
yeah, well, same, and it was like you said too. He was very much like even like now, like playing that game as a kid. He did have that vibe. He was just like the friendly, lovable grandpa. Like anytime you heard that guy's voice, you're in a good mood, and I'm so thankful for that, and I'm so thankful that played such a large role in my childhood. Like I'll cherish that, especially now that he's gone. I always have cherished it, but it's like yeah, now that we're putting it into perspective and kind of taking a step back and really looking at it, it's yeah, that's I wouldn't want to miss that like for anything.
Agreed.
Bugle.
Yeah, my fondest memories will have to be since the Raimi films were my introduction to the character, as well as the '90s
Same.
animated series. I remember he didn't say anything, but those first two cameos in Spider-Man 1 and 2. Yeah, I still remember those. But I think my personal favorite cameo of his will have to be the one from Spider-Man 3 when he says to Peter that basically one person can make a difference.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, that one really hits home. That's like the
Especially
most
now, oh
iconic.
my god, it means so much now.
Yeah,
Especially
every
with
time
this
I
Nuff
listen to it
Said.
today, I probably
Nuff Said.
I know it's not like it's not an overly lengthy cameo. He just comes in. Peter's in a rough spot, and he just comes in and says, "You know what? One person can make a difference." Enough said, and just leaves. And you're like, "This is perfect. Like, that is the
And
best."
the fact that that literally sums up his career and
Yeah.
him as a person, how much
Yeah.
he's achieved and what he means to so many people.
And what he kind of taught
mind-blowing.
us too, like as fans, like
Yeah,
dream
what he
big, and
taught
one
us
person
was-
can make a difference.
Yeah.
You're right. It's perfect. It summed it up. That is I think my favorite cameo out of all of them. At least one of them.
He's had
I
some
mean, there was a
great
lot of like real funny ones, right? But if we're just talking about like the heartfelt, he came in and really gives some solid advice, like old Grandpa Stan. That's the best one.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
Andrew, would you like to state some of your favorite Stanley memories?
Sure. I'm trying to remember here. I think my first exposure, I'm not exactly too sure, but I think my first exposure to Stanley was Spider-Man 3 and the 90s cartoon, because I remember watching that when I was like really young, because I would watch that show like all the time on YouTube.
Well, for me personally, it's a lot, and just like all you guys, it's very similar. Like the Raimi movies with Spider-Man 1 in 2002, when I first saw that in VHS when I was 4 years old, felt like it was real life. And for a while, I did think, Mom, can we go to New York so we can go see Spider-Man beat up some bad guys, please? Because I thought it was so real from seeing it as a kid. And also, with my dad and I playing the games together, it was a way of bringing us more closer as a family, both with my mom and my dad. And he will continue to grow and live on through everyone who he has touched in such a passionate and meaningful way. Which is why, for me, I still haven't really felt like he's gone yet, because it doesn't feel real, because he's still within all of us.
Yeah.
And that's why I
He's
think
a part of us.
throughout the entirety of the history of the 50 plus years of Spider-Man, but the 95 years of Stan Lee, all his work has touched so many people in such an amazing way that with those works of art that he has made, it will continue to inspire more and more people as time comes, having them create their own creations in a really unimaginable way, which is going to be amazing to see play it out.
I agree, Evan.
That's very well put. Actually, to kind of add on to that, not only Stan Lee, but also, and I kind of want to, just put this out there because you never really made a video on this because we're all so busy. But Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, their work, not just them working on Spider-Man, but their work separately, have both influenced me in such a way where it, it's in terms of like how you like approach a character and how you tell a story and just trying to, basically just, I guess, give a piece of yourself to showcase to many people so they can, I guess, just have an understanding of how you are as a human being. And so you can, just share your kindness with everyone. And that's
Yeah, he
just
definitely
that
did that. He definitely accomplished that. Like that's like I was saying earlier. That's all I think when I think Stan Lee is just a kind soul. You know?
But
And
like,
in these past 2 years, he didn't deserve all that rough shit he was getting from his white
No,
ass and
yeah,
all
nobody
these
does, especially
garbage
not in
articles
that.
that made no sense and were
Agreed.
completely fallacious. It was
Right.
ridiculous. He did not deserve
Right.
that.
like my first introduction to Stanley was a weird one. It was Stan's soapbox.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was
Out of all things.
Stan's soapbox. Reading the comics and stuff. That's
Oh my
know,
god.
those soapboxes were hilarious.
They
Yeah.
really were.
Full of
And
insight.
also very insightful too.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
insightful. Getting into the mind of basically my mentor is something I will never forget. Any final thoughts, anyone?
Stanley, you will certainly be missed. We love you. And just like with Steve Ditko, no one will ever be able to create and achieve the things that you have. And there will never be anyone like you, ever.
Yeah, one of a
Don't
kind.
think for a second someone will be like you, because no one will be.
Enough said.
If I can
Enough
just
said.
say something real quick. Thank you, Stan. You've inspired millions with your creations over the years, over the decades, in fact. He will definitely always be in our hearts, and he'll always be remembered as one of the most iconic, I guess you can say, personalities in the comic book, heck, even entertainment
Yeah.
industry of all time.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the entertainment figures just coming out to just
Yeah.
the outpouring like support.
All the celebrities today. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah,
God.
if I could say something quick too, yeah, I'd like to say
We'll
thank
have
you,
fun
man.
words.
You're shaping my childhood basically, and I really don't believe that I would be who I am today if I wasn't influenced by people like Stan Lee and characters like Spider-Man. So for that, I say thank you. Rest in peace and Excelsior.
You got anything
Well
to say?
said.
Any final words?
I really don't know what to say about this. Rest in peace, Stanley.
I'm genuinely surprised I have not cried yet. I'm just waiting for that to happen. That's all I'm waiting for at this point.
All I can say is to Stan, thank you for creating not just characters, but people that I look up to every single day. And you taught me life lessons and values that I will hold on to for the rest of my life and carry forward to future generations. And, you know, you got me through a lot of rough patches in my life. And yeah, I'm still here because of the characters that you created, and for that I'll forever be grateful. And Excelsior.
Well, I know for a fact I certainly wouldn't be here without all you guys and, of course, Stanley himself. You know, I never thought that I would be doing something like this as, let alone besides a job, just something that I truly have found my passion in, something that I know for a fact now that this is what I want to do with my life, either something continuing like this or even in the industry at some point, maybe helping with these creative visionaries make something that inspires other people just like Stan did. And without him, I would never have discovered that that is who I truly am and what I truly want to pursue and what that is my actual passion of. So that's all thanks to Stan. And without him, I wouldn't be here where I am today. So just thank you, Stan, and of course, Excelsior.